All right, happy Sunday, everyone. Hope everyone's having a fantastic week. It's freezing in Los Angeles, so I'm wearing a jacket. It's like 65 degrees, which is cold in LA, so I'm kind of a wimp about that. But hey, today I thought it'd be a great day to talk about failure, right? Because failure, I think it's so important, everything we do. And speaking as an artist, my road has been paved with failure or things that I thought were just huge failures, which maybe looking back in retrospect, it's always easy looking back in retrospect. Oh yeah, that was great, but when you're going through it, it just sucks completely. And I'm just going to tell you the worst experiences I've ever done, I've ever endured as a stand-up comedian. And, take this with a grain of salt. And if you get offended easily, sorry. But I performed 2 days after 9/11 at this club called the Uptown Comedy Club in the Bronx. It's like this, it's a black club. And I walk in there and it's kind of raucous. And as soon as I walk on stage, they see me and they're like, oh, brown guy. Start like heckling me. They're like, oh, Osama, Osama. I start doing material. Nobody's listening. Like, Osama, like, F you, Osama, whatever. And I don't know why, but like my brain was like, I was like, hey, you guys don't think I've been affected by this? Like 9/11, I was supposed to be at work that day, and it affected me. Like, remember I was at home, I saw the plane crash into the building, and I was like, oh my God, they did it without me. Man, the crowd went ape shit. They started throwing shit, like furniture, glasses, whatever. They had to stop the show for like 10 minutes because they hated me. They were going to kill me. And the host had to like usher me out the back door. And he was like, dude, never come back to this club again. Or at least, something like that. And I was like, man, I've never stopped an entire comedy show. But, then I tagged it and I was like, what do I do with all these razor blades? Like that. Anyways. Second time I was performing, my friend Adam Hunter, he's a comedian, he's like, dude, there's this comedy show on a cruise ship, right, for high school kids. I think you'd be good on it. Tours around the Long Island Harbor or whatever that is. So it's like their prom night, and I perform. I only had like 15 minutes or 20 minutes. And I perform and I bomb for these high school kids who are just bored completely, right? They just want to get laid and, drink their illegal alcohol. And I'm like, all right, that's done. We have 2 shows. I guess I'll just hopefully redeem myself second show. But the boat never stopped. Like, it was the same audience twice. So I bombed twice for the same audience. And like they were finishing my punchlines and just a nightmare. I told Adam, dude, never book me again for these shows. And third was just last month. I did some pizza parlor and God knows where, some booker. Because like, hey, it's the first time doing comedy, and I hate when people say first time doing comedy, any venue, because they have no idea what they're doing. Like the TVs were on, it was a big, vacuous area, and people were, like there were kids there, like a pizza party, like in the like 200 feet away, and like nobody was listening, and I just had to eat it for like 35 minutes straight. As Bobby Khan, by the way, so I'm stuck in this character. So, again, I think those experiences, I don't really talk about it, but I think they've made me bulletproof in all aspects of life. I can take a lot. I can be rejected. I'm rejected all the time, and it doesn't bother me as much because of stand-up. So if you wanna learn how to have a dead soul, do stand-up comedy for a couple of years, and I'm sure you'll have your own experiences that you can share in your YouTube channel. Also, failing movie-wise. Like when I made Bobby Khan the movie, like I spent 2 years shooting this movie on weekends. Like every weekend we shot this movie. I was interning at film companies, and I was like, oh, this is going to be a big movie. And so finally, the third year, we spent a year editing it, and then we put it out there. We didn't get into one festival, like not one. Not even like the Indian Film Festival, and I'm Indian. Like they hated the movie apparently. So I was like, man, this is a huge failure. Like I spent 3 years of my life making this movie and nobody even wants to watch it. It's a great movie. Got into festivals after, like years after we made it. But that was an experience, and I was like, dude, this is just a milestone. I thought it was going to be a milestone in my career, and it was, for the wrong reasons, because it taught me a lot about myself. It taught me about how to bounce back, how to become a better person, what's important in life. Like, it taught me a lot of valuable lessons that probably for the better. That, if that movie did blow up and I became some huge movie star, I'd probably be like, doing coke right now in some bathroom in Beverly Hills. Like, but that movie taught me a lot about who I am as a person. So I think it was a good thing. This list goes on forever. I've made like 5 different web series, and some of them do better than others. Like DCOC killed it, did really well. I made one called, here we go. I'm gonna end on this, because this is getting depressing. I made this pilot called No Money Down, like last year. It was this car pilot. I was working at CarMax, and I met this guy there, and he was like, we should shoot a TV pilot about our experiences working at a used car dealership. So he wrote it. It was based on like our story, but I produced it and I acted in it. And this thing killed me because I found all the locations. I had to recruit my friends, put my money into it. I edited the entire thing, and it was shot on like Red Cams, which is a bitch to edit. These high-tech cameras, high-tech footage. I was completely dead by the end of it. And then we shopped it around, and like nobody bought it. We couldn't even get like meetings. Like, a couple networks passed, but they just saw it visually. And I was like, Jesus Christ, can I not catch a break here? And then I took a break from filmmaking, and I just wrote my book. And that book was like the first thing I actually made where I had no expectations. I was like, I don't want to care if anybody even sees this, if anybody even reads it. I don't care. And that's how I now approach things, which, I've mentioned stoicism in the past, but I feel like when you make things for the journey of it, as opposed to the end results, like this has to happen, you're going to save yourself a lot of aggravation. Because, look, I can just speak for showbiz, because other things like being a doctor or a lawyer, it's like a meritocracy. You go to school, you put in your years, you advance up the ladder. That's most things in life. In showbiz, there's no guarantees, which is pretty much something that I've had to learn the hard way. And I'm okay with it, because I do okay. And it just taught me a different mindset, a different way to approach life. And I probably would not be who I am today and speak with the authenticness I try to speak with if I hadn't gone through, boom, 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 just getting hit 1,000 times. Because, man, it sucks. I'm not going to lie to you, it does suck. And anybody who says, oh, you know what, it was so great going through these failures, I'm like, no, I love it. That's bullshit. It sucks. And if you haven't gone through it, then you haven't lived. Because I feel like you're just playing it safe. Like when I had a day job, I worked at this really great agency, and it used to bug me that those guys just played it safe, like working at the job and being in the bubble and just making a ton of money. It's great, but for me, I feel like if you're not risking it, if you're not putting yourself out there and just trying different things and gambling, then why do anything, right? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's just the way I think. But I'm also a comedian, and I feel like comedians are inherent gamblers. That's just what we do, right? So, I don't know. I wish there was a message to this, but there really isn't. You can take it for what it is. But I think failure is really crucial if you want to do anything in life. And I'm sure, I haven't really explored the business side too much in terms of starting my own businesses. Well, I had my own production company, but I was never like a doctor or, an accountant or something. But I feel like that applies as well, because I feel like there's tons of failure. I'm sure guys go through like, medical school and never pass the MCAS, thinking to med school or residency, and they've got to, go a different course. that's part of life. I like how I'm Indian. It's the only example I could take is I could think of is being a doctor, but I just think it's we're all on our own path and we have to just kind of embrace it and just let it not consume us because, dude, it'll kill us, seriously. If we let our own minds take control, I'm just a guy talking on camera right now. That's all it is. But, otherwise I can create this whole story about who I am and, oh my God, life did this to me, da-da-da. It's like this whole thing of drama that we just, internalize and then it manifests where we just can't control it. Man, this is just going off on a weird rant. But you get what I'm saying, right? So take that for what it is. Have a great week. I support you. Take care.